Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. We're back in the room to...
Jesus, my ears, like... Calm down.
Hello!
Hello there.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a good thing we're not wearing headphones.
Yeah.
Maybe we should.
Maybe. We need those, like, you know, what the drummers wear.
Oh, yeah. That block out everyone else.
Yeah.
You just hear yourself.
Like, what, earmuffs?
Like talking to yourself. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is we're back in the room. My name is Chris. I'm joined by my brothers Adam and Eric.
Hey.
And we're continuing our discussion on our favourite games from the last decade. With this episode focused on 2013, which is the only one we wanted to talk about. It's the whole reason we made this series.
This is it. This is
Yeah.
This is the end of the
it's actually
generation.
the end of the road. Yeah, it's the end of the podcast. It's like, we're actually,
thank you for joining us on this.
Yeah. If you want to hear about the next 6 years,
Please subscribe.
too bad. No, I'm only joking.
Fucker.
Suck. So
maybe don't say that multiple times.
right?
No, not at all.
That sounded terrible.
Calm yourself.
Yo, Diego. So we won't dance around this. We all have the very same favorite game of 2013, right?
Yep.
So before we get into that, right, which is a big one, because we're going to need a lot of time to talk about it. Let's leave it to last, and let's talk about any other games that year that came close or were on our radar.
Oh, no, nothing came close, but there were some good games.
Actually, yeah, nothing did come close.
No,
I have to be honest. They didn't really come close. But there was other enjoyable, good games. So Adam, other side of the table.
Hey.
Did you have a second favourite game of 2013 before we get into the big one?
I did buy.
Thanks, Indikini. Who's it? T-shirt there, baby.
Yeah, Tomb Raider 2013.
Unreal.
The reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So it's just self-titled Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider,
There's no
yeah. It's a great title, great artwork.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is
Absolutely
really
beautiful.
good.
It's a pity they didn't really follow through with the next two, but yeah, phenomenal game.
Great
really,
start.
Great game.
Yeah.
It obviously takes inspiration from Uncharted, which took inspiration from Tomb Raider anyway, so I think that's fair.
Yeah, well, I think it's cool that the two have influenced each other at this point, because the new Tomb Raider, has taken influence from Uncharted as well as other games. Like, that's not the only one. But then, and we will get to it eventually, I'm sure, Uncharted 4 took some influence from Tomb Raider as well.
Yeah.
So it's not in any way a rip-off.
Yeah. Well, it's just nice to see that, like 2013, that was the last, well, not the last year, but it is technically the end of that console generation.
PS3, yeah.
The end of the PS3, end of 360. Is it the end of the Wii? I don't know if you can even...
The Wii can't end.
Yeah.
The Wii is still going.
Yeah, it's still going strong.
Immortal.
Someone's playing Wii golf as we speak.
But it's nice to see that, like, Lara Croft has just been obviously a huge icon. I say mainly for PlayStation. It's been like kind of but it really did die off after Last Revelation. Like, it just it really, like, the game. None of the games were that enjoyable. They weren't good. No,
and like they'd become like side games. Like, there was a time when Lara Croft Tomb Raider was a console seller, like on the PlayStation 1, which was, I think, Lara Croft's biggest era. Like, I don't think the PS2 games, like, some of them were liked, but they weren't as big as, like, whereas I think most people who had a PS1 had at least one Tomb Raider game, in their catalogue. Like, they were huge. And she was a gaming icon, and every time you see a version of her on some sort of collection of video game icon characters, it was always the PS1 version, not like some updated PS2 version or anything. So it was great to see a game that gave her like a revamp and did essentially with her what Casino Royale did with James Bond, I think.
Yeah, it pretty much went into like, well, why the hell would anyone want to do anything that like go on these adventures looking for treasure and stuff?
Some people criticized it for that because some people didn't like taking, because Lara Croft is such a strong female character, and definitely
What?
Some people did not like that they took her and made her kind of vulnerable. I loved it.
That's
I loved
made
the appeal of
her
it.
a much more realistic.
And relatable.
Yeah,
I liked how scared she was.
No, there's no way people complain about that because I mean, like,
No, honestly, I know people
Really?
who did. Yeah, I know people who did not like.
because Lara Croft
I even heard people. Right, look, I heard people say, "Well, they wouldn't do that with Drake, would they?"
They did do that with Drake.
They did do that with Drake,
Yeah.
but there was all these concerns about taking a strong female character, and
But she wasn't a strong female character, really.
She was.
No, but like it's been like Lara Croft has always been criticized for just being the typical, like it's just her appearance that makes her attractive, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's just being like the hot pants, the tank top, the big boobs, tiny, like ridiculously tiny waist. Now the thing is that I do disagree on some of the criticisms in terms of how Lara Croft looked in previous games, purely because they were limited by hardware.
Oh yeah.
So when you have very few polygons, how do you make a character look feminine versus a male character?
Like,
right?
yeah, how do you
have
make
restrictions.
Tifa's boobs look massive if you don't make them look massive?
But it's just like you are restricted by the hardware, so those were like reasons as to why Lara Croft was that shape. Like people were complaining saying, "Well, no one has triangular boobs." It's like, well, the hardware was limited at the time. So, but when it transitioned to PS2, that's where you can criticize the design of the character, and it was purely about appearance. They had her like running around in like a ballroom dress, like jumping around the place doing flips with guns. It's when Lara Croft became just this silly action game, and it's like the way the Resident Evil movies went.
Yeah,
that's the way the games went.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
And Lara Croft has always been really criticized for just being like that. It's just like there's no complexity to the character. There's no personality there. There's no reasons as to why she goes on these adventures other than just she looks nice and she's got guns, and that's
They always kept her backstory very vague in that, like, it remained consistent in that she was wealthy, she was an orphan, and she goes on adventures. That was kind of it. But the new game did a great job of...
Yeah, the game studio, game developers knew as they were making all these games that this was the wrong path to go with Lara Croft. And it was purely just the publishers, really, that were pushing that particular image about being this action-packed, just sexy woman.
Yeah.
Right? So it was just like, the men in suits kind of a thing, pushing that, like, cause like, oh, people love it, so that's why. And it's if you just look at how well Tomb Raider and Lara Croft games have done over the years, it's clear that message doesn't work.
No, but when I say strong female character, I don't mean like, back in the day she strongly represented like the strongest feminine characteristics or anything like that. Just that her role in a video game was not the damsel in distress, which back in the day a lot of
she's the main character.
She's an action hero, and she's a badass. Her. Like that was kind of the idea of her originally. But it felt it fell flat after a while. Like there was no
it's just because they started pushing the wrong thing. So it's great to see that as they're reviving the character, they really do bring her back to like being something that you can admire.
Yeah.
Giving her a motivation, giving her depth, while also bringing in gameplay mechanics that are fantastic. Like the
really good
gameplay, like the cover-based shooter, similar to Gears of War, similar to Uncharted. The climbing, again, kind of similar to Uncharted, maybe even a bit of Assassin's Creed. But it has that Metroidvania style,
like the puzzle temples and stuff. Yeah, they're great. Yeah, really good.
Well, I mean, that's probably the best part of the game.
But I even love the setting and the plot. I think was really good. Like they did a bit of research into like a lot of the older Tomb Raider games was like just made up shit that sometimes was like really far fetched or really
ridiculous.
Like, really ridiculous. Like
kind of rehashed.
Remember the one about a meteorite that hits Antarctica, and it's like, why are you looking for a meteorite?
I think
like,
it's the third one or something.
Meteorologist.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So I love that they. I do think they took a bit of a page out of Uncharted's book, which was let's pick something that's based in our own mythology. That's a place that there are stories that surround that they're looking for. So this Yamatai, and then using the myths around it to build the story. So the idea of like she's like Queen of Storms and stuff. So let's have this storm that surrounds the island. That's why no one can leave. And then let's put it in the Dragon's Triangle, which is a place where there's always storms or ships go missing and stuff. Great, we can build our mysteries around an element of reality. So it's like maybe you could buy into that there is something mystical or something strange out there. So I love that.
Well, I think it's the way you should do reboots. And like it's similar to like Doom 2016, which is another reboot.
Yes.
What's brilliant about that is it's standalone. You don't need to play the other games.
No.
But if you do, technically there's nothing saying that this character doesn't go off to do those adventures later.
Yeah.
Like this Tomb Raider is just showing like the beginnings of how she becomes the Tomb Raider, and that it could easily down the line open up into the first Tomb Raider on PS1.
Yeah, because she's obviously a younger version.
I think she's like just out of college or something like that. So
I love that they make her very vulnerable in the beginning, but it's a journey to becoming that badass. By the end of the game, she's like
shooting people, she's bows, arrows, machine guns, grenades.
Yeah, like you become very able, and it works then as a narrative in a video game. In that, because when you're starting the game, you're a beginner.
Yeah, you're not as good, and then you build up these skills.
Exactly. Yeah. So like any game, like so, because like when we've said before that like some of the best games are, in our opinion, are the ones that the gameplay serves the story, and that they go hand in hand. So sometimes if you're playing a game where you're playing as a character who is unbelievable at what they do, like how can they progress? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know they can a little bit, but in this case it's like she actually has to learn how to survive and how to kill.
Yeah.
And then she does, and you do, and then takes on more and more challenges as it goes along, and by the end of the game comes out this survivor. So like setting wise and gameplay wise, it all clicks and it all works.
Yeah, and then seeing the stuff that she goes through as well.
Yeah, it's rough.
Oh, she goes through hell.
Yeah, and it's not like she just brushes it off. Like
No.
I mean, it is like excruciating pain that she goes through, and she has to like tend to her wounds and stuff. But it's like overcoming all of that, and then eventually stuff starts to not phase her as well, which is cool. Because so then you start to see how her psychology changes and how this kind of lifestyle becomes easy for the character.
Yeah, and there's a slight horror aspect.
Massive horror aspect.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Terrifying. Those guys
there's elements that are really creepy.
The inhabitants who are like trapped on the island.
Love those characters.
They are terrifying people.
Yeah, there's kind of a Resi 4 vibe to it.
Yeah.
There actually is, yeah. That's a really,
Yeah, and also Dead Space, I thought. Like in terms of the the amount of ways that the character can die. Yeah, the multi. Yeah, it's just brutal.
They went to extremes. Like there's the bit when the infamous moment when you're going down the river. There's obviously loads of moments in when you go down the river, but there's one particular one. I think the plane is coming after you as well, or something like that.
Yeah.
While you're going down the river, and if you don't move out of the way just in time, you might get like a hole going right straight through your throat. And then you just see her like gargling on her own blood, and then dying.
It's rough. It is rough. Like they go for it. But I love that, like because like whatever anyone else thinks, like they took a gamble on making that game because they revamped everything about a character that was already well loved and a series that already had a certain vibe to it. And they took it, totally changed it, and totally twisted it. But they owned it. They weren't fucking.
Oh, this was absolutely
dancing around it. They didn't shy around it.
Casino Royale, basically. All
exactly.
It's like this. It's a series that's just getting milked to
that's going nowhere. Yeah. That will always sell, but not
And Casino Royale is another one where it's like, it's new, but there's nothing saying that bond becomes the bond. Of
exactly. And there's still like the elements of the character that you need there. There, and that's the important thing. Like what's inherent to Lara Croft's character. Okay, she's
pops.
She's English. Yeah, there's a certain relationship with her father. She comes from a background of wealth, and she has an interest in finding the undiscovered and the unknown.
Yeah,
and that stuff all has to be there. How did you feel about the bow and arrow replacing her
dual pistols?
Her dual pistols as a.
In that one, I really, really loved.
Yeah,
purely because of the climax of the game.
Yes, In
the others, though.
Yeah,
doesn't
make sense.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Like I think the
totally agree.
Although Tomb Raider or Rise of the Tomb Raider, the second one.
Yeah.
You can absolutely say the argument that it's a better game in terms of like
More
you can
puzzles,
do more in
yeah.
it. The tombs are better, all that kind of stuff. It's like, well, yeah, of course, it's a newer game. Of course, it's going to be better in those aspects. Like you're always going to make some form of development.
Yeah.
But in the context of where the character is going, their personal story, and just the setting, it
feels very sequel.
It's like if you ended the first game with her holding her iconic dual pistols,
yes,
then that should be her going forward. Why are we back to using the bow?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
yeah, and that moment at the end, it's like you've earned it. You deserve this. Is what it feels
you've
like.
become the Tomb Raider.
You've become Tomb Raider. Yeah, you've become the badass Lara Croft that we all know, and it took this horrific journey to get there.
Yeah.
And now she's
like, it's clear that
awesome.
That reboot was them, as you said, taking a gamble.
Yeah,
they're taking a risk with that one. The next two, they were being really safe.
Yeah, like I played quite a bit of the second one. I didn't play. I haven't played the third one.
I played the demo of the third one.
Was it good?
It's
more the same. It's not.
It's
that bad.
It's kind of the same, but it's a really cool premise on the idea that it's the villains are kind of the good guys in it.
All right.
And you're the villain because you have just initiated the apocalypse.
Oh yeah, you did something bad.
Yeah, you did something bad.
All right, you're trying to undo something that you did?
Yeah, and that's really cool. And there's a really cool moment between her and Jonah, who's like in all three games.
That's right, yeah.
Where they have like an argument or a fight or something.
I will say that about the Tomb Raider game. Like I like some of the supporting cast, but some of them some of them are a bit annoying to me.
Yeah.
Like I do like this aspect of she was part of a crew, which normally doesn't happen, and they get shipwrecked. And so there are these other characters to care about and to find and to try and save, so that you're not just isolated totally.
Yeah.
But they feel out of something else. Some of them.
Assassin's Creed.
A little bit, yeah, like the modern Assassin's Creed segments.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think Eli Roth, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
In the first one, he's the only one that really fits in it. He's like he was like Lara Croft's mentor.
That's right. Who talks to her on the walkie-talkies and said, "You can do this, Lara." Yeah.
Pretty sure that's Robin Atkinsons.
Robin Atkinsons. Yeah.
Robin Atkinsons. If you're listening, we love you, man. Yeah, we love your work.
He doesn't get a lot of credit for.
He doesn't, but he does.
Speaking of great voice actors, the one who played, is her name Camilla? I can't remember.
Camilla Luddington.
Yeah, she did a fantastic job because the scene when she first kills somebody at the start of Tomb Raider, and she just bawls into tears, like you really feel it.
she just
balls into the tears. Yeah, no, it's just a great game, and it's really well acted. And again, it's one of the ones that starts straight into the action, kicks you right into the setting, like a.
Yeah, and then you kind of
dance
piece it together afterwards. Then
it's
like kind of.
I like that. Like
the opposite to you remember like King Kong.
Yeah,
the entire like trying to get to
too
the
much
island.
Of a build-up. Like I remember we saw that in the cinema, and straight after the native scene. Now it was a really great place to place an intermission because the tone changed so quickly. And we came out going, "What the fuck?" Because like it just went from a really light, kind of boring, kind of
period piece
love story, really.
Yeah.
To then something that was straight out of like Peter Jackson's early work.
Yeah.
But yeah. This does the other way around. It jumps into the action, and then you catch up on the stuff that happened before or after. My favourite portrayal of Lara Croft, definitely after Angelina Jolie, of course. Well, no, look, Angelina Jolie, I think, perfectly captured the PS1 version. Like, she was actually really...
I think she was really good.
Really well casted, and it was a really good role. But I do love this revamped version of Lara Croft, and this younger... but yeah, I agree. Like I think the sequels have gone off the mark. I think they've missed what the first one achieved at the end of that game.
Because even in the third one, you again still have a bow and you don't have your two pistols, which is a bit like, why am I still not having the two pistols? Yeah. But a really cool thing you're able to do is you're able to use like mud and vines on walls to hide yourself, and you become like a female Rambo, which is really cool.
That sounds really cool.
So I think there's some
if they want to do
aspects.
if they want to focus on other weapons, maybe like giving Lara Croft a knife.
Yeah, so she has a knife in this one.
On a bit of melee
rather than
contact.
that ice pick all the time.
Oh no, she still has them in the third one. Yeah,
does she?
Yeah.
And
it's just two of them. And she also has a rapple in this one. You know, she always had that kind of rapple hook thing in the previous games. Yeah. So she has that in the third one as well.
Was the Tomb Raider was an amazing game. Definitely in my top 3 that year. Was it your number 2, Eric?
It was my number 2. on the basis of I forgot about this other game that came out in 2013.
What was that?
Infinity Blade 3.
Oh, yeah. You thought it was done.
You thought it was done, but it's back.
Infinity Blade 3.
Infinity Blade 3 was
Was it better than Infinity Blade 2?
Yeah, so good.
Is it actually?
Aspects of it, yeah. Infinity Blade 2 was funner to play.
I can't tell if you're joking.
Babbly, babbly, boo.
Gameplay wise, Infinity Blade 2 was way funner to play, but Infinity Blade 3 just blows it out of the water on aspect of story, because at the start of it you have this.
I don't mean to laugh, because each to their own, and fucking, if you like it, you like it, and it's obviously got good lore and everything. So I don't mean to laugh, but you always surprise me when you say it. I genuinely don't know if you're going, oh yeah man, it's unreal, but you're kind of taking the piss.
Unreal. No, I'm not taking the piss. No. That's his opening cinematic, voiced with a narration of...
Is it Robin Atkinson's?
No, John Noble, the man who plays Denethor in
Nice.
Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. He plays Scarecrow in Arkham Knight. What a fantastic voice!
Brainiac in Superman.
Brainiac won the Superman films. Really he just has this fantastic voice where he just narrates essentially the origin of the entire world, where the Infinity Blade came from, where the Deathless came from, and it just. Yeah, you just get to have this massive world. That
I've always downloaded. I'm pretty sure I actually have it downloaded on my phone. I've never played it.
Oh man, you should play it. Troy Baker playing Cirrus again. Laura Bailey comes back and you get to play as Issa now. So now you get to play as two different characters, and you also get a whole new cast of. You have a hideout, like a little base area,
like a hub.
Yeah, like a hub type thing, I suppose.
Is that one available anymore?
Infinity Blade 3?
You said Infinity Blade 2
I don't know.
All three of them aren't.
None of them. Oh,
really?
It's kind of like I have them pretty much on my phone.
No, just because if people heard about it and they went, oh, that actually sounds really good, they might want to play it. But
you'd have to watch it.
And I don't even see
why did it go? Some rights or something?
I don't know why they stopped supporting it, because it's not as if it's Epic Games. It's not as if they're gone.
And is it an Epic game?
Oh, it's an epic game. You have to. So the Worker of Secrets is trying to burn the entire world and then start again, and you have to stop him from doing that.
Wow. And is there a little bit of a? Obviously,
there's a dragon in it.
Before it, but
there's a dragon in it.
I remember the dragon.
There's a dragon in it.
That's not what I was going to ask. Oh, is this one more like Skyrim than the last one?
They're all like Skyrim.
It's exactly like Skyrim. No, I was gonna ask, in that, is there a little bit of the Infinity War thing in that the villain has a point? Is there an aspect to that where you're well, I want to stop you from killing the people right now, even though you're thinking of a grander scheme that's not?
No, I did.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Fucking confused.
I get what you mean. Well, see, yeah, with Thanos, some people were actually able to kind of see his point of view. No, I think
it's really objective.
Yeah, I think the Worker of Secrets is just batshit. Right, so he's batshit crazy,
so
and
it is just villainy.
It's kind of just I'm kind of bored with this world and I want to remake a new one. The Worker, he is full on straight up in
God complex.
He is God complex. He made the Deathless because he made some sort of weird device called the Identity Quantum something or another. All right, I can't remember it, but
I don't mean to laugh. Every time you talk about this, it's just there's so much lore about this that no one knows, man, that everyone needs to know.
Everyone does need to know lore of this. But so all the Deathless have that. So every time they die, their identity gets sent to a machine that then remakes them.
Oh, right, cool. So if he wipes out the whole world...
Oh, I did play this. Yeah, that's the bit that I was just nah, can't have. I'm not playing this.
You didn't like that?
You didn't like
no,
that?
I didn't like that. Because the first Infinity Blade was
really fantasy.
It was medieval. It was your typical medieval fantasy with monsters in a castle, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then 2 starts to introduce kind of sci-fi stuff, and then 3, it was it's why am I on a spaceship?
Do you know what?
Well, it looks like a spaceship. It's a real futuristic kind of.
Oh yeah, there's robots in it and stuff. But you have a cast you have a cast of characters that actually join your crew to help you. So you have a blacksmith, a gem crafter, and then a merchant as well.
Nice.
That kind of join you, and then it turns out that the Worker of Secrets has also made a lot more Infinity Blades, has given them the loss of Deathless, and then you have to go and kind of collect them.
What does an Infinity Blade do? What's so special about them?
It doesn't end, man.
They go on forever, man.
They just last.
There's so hard to pull out of your scabbard, man. You need long arms.
They're the only thing. They're the only things that can kill the deathless.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what's so special about them.
Okay.
You said he gave them to all the deathless.
Yeah.
Is that to kill themselves?
He wants them to kill themselves very much.
Oh, really? Like kill each other?
Oh no, also Cyrus and Issa become Cyrus is name.
That's your character.
That's your character, voiced by Troy Baker.
Yeah.
Is deathless.
Okay.
And he has amnesia. And he once was Ausar, who betrayed the Worker of Secrets and placed him inside the Citadel in the second game.
What? You need...
You need to set up like a YouTube lore.
Yeah, no, man,
there's loads of them out there already.
You need to do it because I've never heard you sound so passionate about anything like this. You are so into this.
It's so good. And then Issa becomes deathless as well at the start of the third game.
Class. Who's Issa? I don't know who Issa is.
Issa is the...
You just say names to me. Like, I don't have a fucking clue.
So Issa is the female character you get to play as. She's introduced in the second one, but you get to play as her in the third one.
Alright.
And at the end of the second one,
Is that Laura Bailey?
That's Laura Bailey.
Okay.
Laura Bailey plays her.
Has the gameplay at all changed?
Oh, no, the gameplay is the exact same.
Same. So really what they expanded on is what, lore and graphics?
The lower graphics in the world, yeah. Because you actually get to now go to multiple locations rather than just one.
Ah, cool. Yeah, no, just on the sci-fi element of it, I always like fantasy that isn't your straightforward typical fantasy. Yeah. And any of the ones that aren't are the ones that always grab me more. Like even Lord of the Rings, which is the masterpiece. When it came to watching the movies, like there's some of the stuff, like in terms of design and stuff, like they didn't go so typical. Like there's such interesting designs to the way swords look or the way armor looks.
Yeah,
or
these games
shit
definitely
like that.
don't have that.
No, I know that, but what I'm just saying is, even so, if there's a fantasy thing, or like one of my other favorite fantasy movie franchises would be Star Wars, which is a fantasy, but it's got spaceships and shit. You know, like it's not your typical fairy tale princess medieval setting. Like,
yeah, I just find that the Infinity Blade games, it was very just like it's almost like just going onto a library and searching for a stock kind of thing and just dragging it in. It's just like it straight up just looks like
this looks fucking cool.
Well, straight up just look like a medieval knight, like in a fucking Mass Effect spaceship. Like it's just none of these merge together.
All right, okay. So is there not like design elements in the world that start to make a link?
No.
Like, do you know the way like in Skyrim, right? When you go down to the Dwemer, like there is advancements, but it still looks like it lives in that world. Like the robots still have.
It's not like that.
You know, it's not like that then.
No.
Some of the robots and some of the locations do look a bit far more advanced than what. Yeah,
is that story based though? Is there like some time travel element to it?
There's no time travel element to it. No, I think the world is. I think it's actually. I don't know. I think it's actually a post-apocalyptic world that you're actually existing in as well.
All right. So at one point they'd gotten advanced and then.
Yeah, or they.
Man, it sounds.
They just never
like
advanced.
Zero Dawn.
Maybe they just never advanced to use guns. Maybe they're like, your swords don't run out of ammo. We'll just use them. The class, like.
Somehow I don't think that's what it is.
Probably not.
Do the spaceships have guns?
There's only one spaceship in it.
Oh, there's only one spaceship. Okay.
Yeah.
Adam, you're blowing this way out of proportion, man.
I don't know. I think you're doing false advertisement here. You're fucking Trump over
there. Yeah. Fake news. Cool. Okay.
Right. Your second one.
My second one. Look, it's purely biased, and it's Batman Arkham Origins, which is the weakest in the Arkham series, in my opinion. But I really fucking enjoyed it, and I can't deny that I didn't.
It's more Batman.
It's more Batman. Yeah, it's very similar to Arkham City. It didn't try and push any boundaries, and like, I'd say where Arkham Origins is where it fails is the map. Like the actual going around that map is shit. Just Gotham, and there's a
that's an example of it's just a bigger map.
Yeah, that's exactly that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we made Gotham twice the size of Arkham City.
Class.
There's still no one in it.
Yeah.
Like, where is everyone? And trying to set it in one night. really fucked with the story.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't work. However, there are elements and there are things that the game does that I think it does really well. Like really well. The detective mode.
Definitely the best.
It's fucking amazing. That thing of like flipping back sequences, and they did carry that over to Arkham Knight for a couple of segments, but they did it a lot in Arkham Origins.
I think one or two other games also started to use that system themselves.
Yeah. And so doing that was great. The music was great. Like the score to it was fucking brilliant. The like Christmas bells and stuff mixed in, Carol of the Bells, along with the Joker. There's I love the Christmas decorations ever at Gotham because it just makes it look really creepy. Like there's definitely elements to it. Like the game gets a lot of criticism in that it's like, oh well, it's not new. A different studio did it, and
I think.
But I think there's a lot of stuff in there that's good that people.
Yeah, like it should have been included in like the Return to Arkham.
I think so too. Absolutely. I think it's actually kind of an insult to it that it's not because it is canon. Like if you play Arkham Knight, there's stuff referenced in it that is in Origins.
Yeah. But I would agree with the criticisms that it does lack originality. Like if you look at Asylum and Arkham City, like there's just they stylistically fit in with like the animated series and the comics, but are still really original in their designs.
Yes.
With Arkham Origins, there's like nearly everyone in it looks the same. Like it's really difficult to kind of discern like Copperhead versus was it Shiva? Who's the?
There's Copperhead, Lady Shiva's in there.
So they all like looked the same, kind of like they had the same color scheme. They didn't really have unique silhouettes.
Yeah.
Which is really really important in character design. And Batman himself, it's like okay, we're introducing the kind of the Christopher Nolan style armored bat suit, which wasn't in the other two. So it's like, well, why would he start off with an armored suit and go back to
and like even I think that like they acknowledge that themselves when they're making the game, like because they're bringing new gadgets. And people were saying, well, why didn't he ever use this after this game, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, well, look at like yes, that is a story facet, but we're trying to make a third game. Even though it's based before, we're making a third game.
What they should have done,
to add in new stuff.
Well, what they should have done is just like take it back to basics. Do the Tomb Raider road, which is
I agree. I actually
back to the beginning and start building your suit and build like you're getting.
Yeah, like if you customize it as you go, that could have been a really cool. Like I agree that going back was a good idea for a separate studio because they couldn't go forward because someone else was doing that, right? And they couldn't touch that. Whereas if they went back, they could kind of tell whatever story they wanted, and they had a bit of creative freedom within the Arkham formula.
Yeah.
I agree that yes, they should have taken them a little back further. I know, like they obviously wanted to have you jump into the action as quick as possible, so they wanted a Batman that is a bit seasoned but still has a lot to learn. But yeah, I look at that. I can't deny. Like, if you can give me more scenarios where I have to do stealth takedowns and take on multiple people, and then also I thought the boss fights were really good.
Boss fights are like, especially Deathstroke.
Yeah, because they
Deathstroke's class,
which is based the boss fights off the Mr. Freeze fight. That was their goal. Yeah, and there's that Bane
at the end.
That is stressful as fuck. Never have I been so afraid of Bane. Have you ever gotten to the end of that game?
No, I didn't because where the game I really lost enjoyment in it was just the general combat. Yeah, it's really uninspired. It's it's pretty much the entire game is just in Arkham City where you're looking for Mr. Freeze and you go into the Penguin museum and there's just that open arena and there's just a shit ton of guys and you have to just keep countering and fight and counter fight. Nearly every fight in Arkham Origins is just that. It's like 30 guys. And it's not even difficult. It's just, this is just stopping me from progressing. I just want to get over there and continue the story. And this is just a wall that I have to get through. It's not hard. It's just slowing me down. And that's not fun.
Yeah.
So, with too many of that, I just kind of fell off it. I also found the game was kind of glitchy as well.
Very glitchy. It's easily the most broken game of the series.
So little things like that just kind of
when you're grappling and then suddenly the screen just starts like shaking on you and it's really annoying. So like I said, like the reason it's my number 2 is because it's nowhere near the number 1, right? But and I am biased in that I love the Arkham formula and I love Batman, so I'm going to enjoy it. But I just enjoyed a lot of the ways certain things were executed, and I think in particular, kudos to Troy Baker.
Oh yeah, for continuing the job.
That's a hard gig, I think.
Yeah,
very good
job. So trying to do a younger version of Mark Hamill's Joker, they did kind of do like I like to think. I kind of go against the developers on this. They say that game was based 5 years before Asylum.
Oh yeah, that's a bit weird.
That's ridiculous. So I say it's 10. So if you're ever playing it, take it. It's 10 years.
I thought this was 15 years.
Well, it should be even that because there needs to be a long career of like there needs to be 3 Robins in between all that, and you know.
Yeah.
So
and
it needs
also
to be
Robin
a lot
needs
longer.
And Oracle, that whole thing.
Yeah, everything.
Also, Nightwing's an adult. Those actually the third Robin.
Loved that's an element I liked. There's a year 1 time era to it.
Yeah.
And I loved the corrupt police.
Yeah.
And the SWAT.
Yeah.
There's a part where you have to go into the police station and it's the police that you're fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something that hasn't been in the other games because the police are on your side.
Yeah.
So I liked that era of a Batman, and I loved at the start it opens up with this really cool like edgy music, and Bruce is getting into his batsuit, and the news is on, and Gordon says there is no Batman, and then the title comes up, and I was like, this is a really cool intro, and then you go into Blackgate, and it feels like Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, I would have loved if they explored that a bit more though, just the whole like him taking on the police, and then all of a sudden there is a greater threat. That comes into it eventually. Like, I think they went really overboard with the amount of villains in that game.
They did really.
It didn't really have a But
focus. They also missed an opportunity in that they had a chance to try and display Batman's first encounters with a lot of his like major villains.
Oh yeah.
Because it's early on. Like, they got to tell the first time the Arkham version meets the Joker, right?
Yeah.
And I thought they did it quite well. After he meets him, it falls off the ledge a little bit. And towards the end, you realise the Joker has no plan here. It's just, there's no plot, really. It's just happenings and interactions. But they had an opportunity for even, like, a side mission, like, there's a burglary after happening, right? So you go down to some jewellery shop, do your detective mode stuff, and then you have to track down Catwoman. And it's his first, you have an opportunity to do stuff like that, or even have Harvey Dent in it pre Two-Face.
Yeah,
talking to the police, or they had these opportunities that I feel they missed, and including strange villains that aren't necessary. Like, I know they wanted to have 8 assassins hunting Batman, but like Copperhead was strange. Like, I know they wanted to do a hallucination sequence, so a first encounter with Scarecrow would have been lovely.
Yeah.
Would have been really nice because everyone
is the Mad Hatter in that one. Actually,
he is in that one.
Yeah, he is,
and it's a good. Actually, the Mad Hatter segment is good. It's quite creepy. He's after kidnapping a girl, and again you go into this weird.
I don't know if I
Wonderland.
Oh, that's the kind. That's
illusion.
That's very Scarecrowy, isn't it?
It is very Scarecrowy.
Yeah,
But put Scarecrow in it. Like Scarecrow was everyone's favorite segments, I think, from Asylum.
Yeah. And he was definitely missed in City.
He was missed in City, and every time something happened, I remember there was a point where anytime there was gas in City at all, I remember like being in an elevator and going, fucking Scarecrow! And then it never happened. And you're like, come on! So in Origins, it was like, come on, please, Scarecrow. And he's never in it. But I thought, the boss fights are cool. I enjoyed the game. That's pretty much it. And the music was very good.
Yeah.
I also like, there's a great scene that they had. I thought it was a nice way to write it, where Joker is falling from, and it's not the end of the game, Joker's falling from like a hotel and Batman saves his life.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
And then he's brought into prison. Now this is where it doesn't work in the case of one night. This actually, that game needs to be like every time, and it doesn't need to be one night. Like every time it loads up, it could be a different night. That's so. Anyway, Joker is brought into prison and he's being assessed by Harley Quinn as a psychiatrist, and he's explaining that he met someone tonight and it changed his life. And talks about how in love he feels.
Yeah.
And Harley thinks he's talking about her.
Yeah.
So she gets flattered by it, and I just thought that was a really clever way.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So she gets flattered by him talking about Batman, and I thought that was fucking great. And I also like there's they
do a Red Hood sequence with that as well.
Did it?
Yeah, I think when when he's scared shit out of me.
Adam just gestured at Eric, and Eric wasn't expecting it.
No, got very scared. It's when he's explaining to Harley Quinn that he first met Batman. I think it does go into you're playing as Joker, but he's dressed as the Killing Joke. Red Hood.
Sorry, they do, and
you thought I meant the other Red Hood.
And it shows a little bit of maybe this is they do the Joker acid sequence kind of thing.
Yes.
But then they also what was I going to say?
I have no idea.
Towards the end of the game, they do a bit of a Christopher Nolan on it, in that because Joker gets fascinated by the fact that Batman saved him, right? And so they do the whole "I'm going to try and make you kill" thing, but they do it in a really clever way, where there's something attached to Jim Gordon's head that's going to electrocute him and kill him, and it's being charged by a meter that's in Bane. And so Batman has to kill Bane to save Gordon. Right? And so it's this really cool dilemma. You're fighting Bane, and it's like, how's he going to get his way out of this one? And Batman does it. He stops Bane's heart, knowing that with his electric gloves, he can restart it. So to get out of it, so he kills him, and Joker runs off laughing and goes, he made me do it. And then Batman saves him. And then when you go after Joker, I know I'm spoiling the game, but it's a cool moment. Plus, you're not going to play Arkham Origins. But then, no, when he goes after Joker, it's what I say is it's one of those points where they actually work quite clever with the writing that people have not given it a chance for, I think. He goes after Joker, and Joker's laughing because he killed Bane, and Batman's like, Bane's alive. And he checks the meter, and Joker's like, that's not funny. And Batman kicks the shit out of Joker. But then when he's arrested and he's being brought into asylum or whatever, he's in the yoke and he starts laughing. He goes, stopped his heart? That is funny. Good one, Bats. And he starts thinking about it and go, that's hilarious. It's like, what other ways now can I, play with Batman? Batman's making me laugh.
Yeah.
So it's because Joker starts off in this game as a really depressed, angry person who's trying to fuck with the mob.
Right.
But Batman changes his life. And I just think that is a really
it's a pity that
that gets lost, I think.
It's the pacing and the overall in the gameplay side of things. It's the gameplay that really holds the game back.
It does, yeah, absolutely. And it's a shame.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I enjoyed playing it. It's in no way a top tier game, but yeah, I enjoyed the game.
Sounds good.
I know,
I'm sold. It
sounds good when I put it like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But when you play it, that's a different story. But no, it should have been included on the Return to Arkham remastered versions. I think it was unfair to leave it out.
But you're not Return to Arkham, man. No, not Arkham.
No, but it's supposed to be. Yeah, and the title is weird. The title is weird.
Well, the title for all of them is weird.
Well,
the first two works.
Arkham Asylum is not weird, and then Arkham City becomes a very interesting setting, and they justify it, I think.
Yeah, okay.
But now and
Arkham
then,
Origins,
but as a result
Arkham
of
Knight,
doing that, they caught themselves in a trap.
Yeah, they went Arkham Origins and Arkham Knight. It's well, which is the title? Is it Batman or Arkham? Which one's the title and which one's the subtitle?
But as well, I don't know why they didn't bother. Why didn't they? Here's a very easy title.
That'd be like saying Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
41. But I don't know, here's a really easy fix for an Arkham game, right? If you're trying to change your setting and it can't be an Arkham location, Arkham Inmates.
Yeah.
So Arkham Asylum has been blown open, all the inmates are loose in Gotham, and you gotta go collect them all, which is the Nightfall story.
Arkham World, man.
Do you remember? That was a joke. Do you remember that? They made there's some video where Mark Hamill beat the Joker going, the next game is going to be Arkham World, and he has this that was a joke that Rocksteady made.
Okay.
But it was before Arkham Knight, because everyone was trying to think what it was, and they were like, the world is going to be a huge map, son. It's nuts. Okay, so some of our other favourite games that year then were Tomb Raider, which was fantastic. Infinity Blade 3, which, if you can listen to Eric's passion, was unbelievable.
So good, man.
And Arkham Origins, which I feel didn't get enough of a chance, but is a really good game.
Yeah.
But let's get
down to business.
Number one. Yeah, let's start this podcast. That's a precursor to this. Okay, so our number one game for 2013 was
Resogun.
Resogun.
I'm delighted you both said that. Because it was. So we have another 20 minutes to talk about Resogun. I'm joking.
That was fast though, actually. It was a fun game.
It was a fun game.
No.
Yeah. It was one of the only games to play on PS4 for a while.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, no.
In all seriousness.
In all seriousness, the game of 2013 has to be The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin did a fantastic job.
He's quite like him. Naughty Dog did it again.
Yes, it is.
I'm just taking I just can't. You really take my breath away with Arkham. You just hold.
Did I really? Yeah. And you're like, I didn't realize there was like actually that kind of layer to it. Yeah, it's actually it's not bad actually. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah.
What are we on? What are we talking about?
Last of Us.
Last of Us. Oh,
I was hoping. And that's all we have time for, folks. Just stop it there. That's all we have to say.
I don't know if there's much to say about Last of Us because it's just all good.
Well, I think everyone's played it.
I hope so.
If you haven't, go ahead.
We'll do like a very loose talk about it first, and then we can do a spoiler talk straight after, right? So we'll do like a loose, like, generally what did you like about it, and then we can get into spoilers. So if for any reason someone hasn't played it, because I feel like it's terrible to spoil this on anyone who hasn't.
I think you can talk about it without spoiling it.
Yeah, but I would like to get into spoilers too. I would absolutely.
Care,
so we get to a point where we say, and now we're going to talk about spoilers, and people can.
And you can just go out there and talk to yourself.
Go talk to yourself, man.
Yeah. I ain't mentioning.
What do you want to talk about spoilers for? What are you spoiling on yourself for? Okay, so generally, what do people like about The Last of Us?
I like that it was good. No, because I remember seeing.
About 20 minutes ago, I tried to start a conversation with The Last of Us, and we haven't gotten anywhere except it was good. What was fucking good about it? Everything, man. Okay, thank you.
Okay. I remember seeing trailers for this, and I was just not convinced.
Neither was I.
Like the gameplay, the concept, everything about it, I was just like, I liked what you were doing with Uncharted. Why are you leaving that formula to do this?
I was like, cool, but
like more zombies. I'm sick of zombies.
Yeah,
because I think zombies were really, really big for like a couple of years there as well. So like they were all
they were on all the Call of Duty map games. There was a lot of other games that included
Left
zombies.
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there
was lots.
Very boring.
Dead Rising.
Yeah,
Dead Island.
Resident Evil.
Yeah, zombies have been kind of done to death. I think they found a very clever way of, because like the zombie apocalypse setting is a really like it
can be good.
No, but as much as like it's been done to death, it can be done to death, zombies. But like it does offer a really good setting.
Genre just won't die.
It offers a really good setting for telling stories about human behavior and human nature.
Well, I think that's what makes this game really special. From the beginning, you this is like immediate. This is a different type of game.
Very much so.
Like this is not like anything else we've played. They really up the stakes compared to Uncharted. Because Uncharted always felt a little weird to me coming from Naughty Dog.
Yeah, a little bit. Well,
just because they were like, I mean, Naughty
Dog.
Dog.
It's got running and jumping, that's what they're all about.
It's fun.
Just going from the cartoon characters to now it's a Hollywood live action kind of style thing. Yeah. It was just like, this is a bit weird. It was a bit like when Disney did fucking Pirates of the Caribbean. It was like, what?
Well, it's great that their studio is kind of, or what they're doing, it's kind of maturing. It's kind of, so like Crash Bandicoot, they keep making icons. Like Crash Bandicoot was like, I'm a young child and I'm playing a game. Mm-hmm. And then you get a little bit older, and Uncharted still has that like adventure fun feel to it, but it is darker and it's a little bit more mature, right? So I would say it's like very appropriate for teenagers. Mm-hmm. And then The Last of Us is
welcome to adulthood.
Yeah.
You're now a parent.
Yeah, you got responsibilities.
Yeah,
it actually kind of is like adult simulator.
And just the subtleties, like, because when we're talking about how we like gameplay that serves the story.
Yeah.
Like just the subtle things throughout this, in terms of like how scenes are framed.
Yeah.
The small interactions between the two main characters, Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
And just the small, even the optional dialogue parts as well, like really tells you a lot more about the world you're in and the relationship between these two characters. And it's all through gameplay. It's not like most games would try and tell you a story through cutscene, which this game does as well.
Does a bit, yeah.
But it is that kind of like, as you're walking, as you're moving, you know, you're passing through an environment, you're looking at the state of the environment that you're in.
Yeah.
You're hearing the characters talk to each other, like you're getting a good sense of what that world is like, which is maybe just would have been kind of boring just to sit there and watch. But the fact that you're physically controlling this and partaking in that story, I think that's what really makes the game strong.
Well, the reason I was not excited for the game when it was first announced, because they had shown off what the premise was, which is a man in a post-apocalyptic world looking after a young girl, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So, I had 2 examples of why I wasn't looking forward to this game. The first one
Resi 4
was Metal Gear Solid 2.
Oh, 2, yeah.
Right? Going further back. The scenes where, like, which is a great game, but the scenes where you're riding and you're looking after Emma were a pain in the fucking ass.
Yeah.
And I did not enjoy that at all. The second one is...
Raiden is the name of the character, by the way.
Yeah, Raiden is the name of the... Yeah.
Yeah.
That might have came out wrong. It's Raiden. It's Raiden if you play Mortal Kombat, which is an awesome way to say it. It's Raiden when it's the little fucking blonde-haired fuck from MGS2.
Yeah, it's just how you frame that sentence. It just sounded
wrong.
Yeah,
it sounded totally wrong, did it? Yeah, when you're riding Emma. No, you're a character named Raiden, and you're looking after a girl named Emma, and they're awful, awful segments, right? Yes. And in Resi 4, similarly, amazing game, unbelievable game, but there are segments when you're Leon, you're leading on a girl, when you're Leon and you're looking after Ashley.
Yeah.
And they are fucking, and you're dreading it. I was like,
a whole
game of that.
No, thank you.
Fuck no. And how wrong I was, because Ellie is an awesome
and becomes
character,
the main character,
and becomes
the main character.
Yeah, and it's actually what you think it's that she's a MacGuffin and Joel is your protagonist, but you actually have 2 protagonists.
Yeah,
and their relationship. It sounds so weird, I suppose, to say, but the highlight of that entire game is the relationship between those characters.
Yeah, and
definitely,
like how and then the way that relationship unfolds and the end of the game as well. It's such a wow,
powerful,
very powerful moment.
Powerful, but more powerful the more you think about it.
Yeah,
because at first you go, oh,
yeah,
and then you go, oh,
yeah,
and then you go, oh. Like that.
Yeah, because I remember everyone telling me the ending was amazing. So when I played it and saw the ending, I was a bit like, "Oh, okay, nothing really happened."
Yeah,
that word "amazing's" a dick.
Huh?
It really just
it ruins everything.
It ruins everything.
What did you like about the game, Eric?
What I like about it, it's free play value. Amazing. Nothing better than shit in your pants when you got a big bunch of clickers coming after you and you got nothing. You just got a brick. You got a brick and you got to fuck them up, and then they just rip your neck out.
That's the replay value. That's the replay value.
Yeah, amazing.
I have to say about the game as well, and like you made me think of it there. With like you're surrounded, you haven't got much on you. A lot of games in the past have made promises of being like, oh, it's going to be so hard, it's going to be so limited in resources. Like Resi 5 is one I think of where they talked about, you know, you're going to have to stay in the shade or the sun will kill you and all this kind of stuff. And then it didn't do any of those things.
Yeah,
right?
they got rid of all that. So when they were saying
about The Last of Us, oh, you're going to have to really like look after your bullets and every shot will count. Yeah, whatever. That's just game talk. No, they fucking meant it. Like you're counting your bullet. I've got 4 bullets and there's 10 guys. So some of them are going to have. I'm going to have to sneak up on them.
Yeah, you definitely have to play the stealth game.
Like, this is a it's a stressful game too. I would say it's not fun. As much as I love it, it's not a fun game. Like, fun is the wrong description.
No, I did.
That's class.
I did not have fun playing it.
It's fun because it's the same kind of fun as like why do people go on like a roller coaster, bungee jump, or watch a horror movie? It's that type of fun.
I would say it's thrilling.
That's a measure of fun.
Yeah, I suppose. Like I suppose, like when I say it like a fun
You're not
game,
having a good time. That's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no, like when I think of fun games, I suppose I'm like Uncharted is a fun game. Like it's fun in its atmosphere and everything. Like this game it would have more of a, in terms of games we've talked about before, in tone it's more like Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
Like it's
definitely serious. Yeah,
it's really serious. It's really dark and really serious, but it's like, and
the moments that you laugh at are not like funny moments either. They're like, you're kind of laughing in terms of like, I can't believe
you're like fucked.
Yeah, I can't believe that's what's either happening or happened.
Yeah. And there's a lot of shockers in it. I was surprised how long the game was.
Yeah,
I remember when summer ended, and it's the only other game I've had that feeling that I had when first played Final Fantasy VII after leaving Midgar.
Oh yeah.
Last of Us is the only other game to do that, where I went, that was only summer, and I stood like, I was like, I have 3 other seasons to play through. I was like, holy fuck! Now, like summer is the longest one, but
yeah, they get shorter.
They do get shorter, but like, I was still really surprised because like I'd covered a lot of ground by then. I was like, fuck! Like this journey, it keeps going. It's great.
Yeah.
And Joel, I think, is one of my favorite video game protagonists.
Well, it's really interesting about both of those characters, Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
Like obviously Joel is voiced by Troy Baker, which voiced the Joker in Arkham Origins.
Yeah.
And
he was doing a lot around that time.
Cyrus in Infinity Blade 3.
That's right. This is the Troy Baker episode.
Yeah. So like, I mean, we're very familiar with his voice, but it doesn't matter how many times I play The Last of Us, I don't hear Troy. No. I only hear Joel.
That's his like absolute masterpiece role. Like.
Yeah, and it's the same with Ellie. Like I really just don't hear, what the fuck is her name?
Ashley Johnson.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't hear her at all. I just hear
Ellie.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm absolutely convinced that that's like a 14-year-old girl or whatever age she is.
Yeah. 14, yeah. The voice so suits the face. Like everything's put so well together.
And the attitude as well. Like, you know, Troy is not as old as Joel in that game, but he sounds like a very mature guy who
is damaged.
Has gone through so much.
Yeah. And
she does genuinely. She's not a teenager, that actress, but she sounds like a young girl who's just trying to learn.
It's another one of those games that very quickly jumps into it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it throws you right deep. It tells you straight up, it's like, this is the type of game it is. And like, okay.
It lets you know, like, this is not going to be emotionally easy.
I think the second or third time I played the start, I actually started to tear up at the end of the prologue of the game.
When his daughter's dead.
Oh, we're jumping straight into that part now, are we?
That's the setup to the game. This is the same thing as every right. I haven't mentioned the ending. It's the start of the. You can watch Seth Rogen play it on YouTube. It's the fucking start of the game.
Yeah. Yes, when Joel is holding his daughter.
Acting is
that because
The Last of Us did what I think anyway, because you've seen it now in a lot more games and in the way they're like casting actors and stuff now.
Yeah.
Like way back when Metal Gear Solid revolutionized voice acting in games because the voice acting was really fucking good. I thought, and then they were like, right, we like not every game did it, but a lot of games started to go, let's take voice acting a bit more seriously and actually like get people who could add character to it, not just read the lines essentially. But The Last of Us was like the acting to a whole other level. Like that was like fucking Oscar worthy acting. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely, like,
it's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, and
the energy that they.
I think like I mean the reason there's a few other games that came out in 2013 like even today are glorified, but I think the reason that game by like for most people is like the best game of that year is just because of the impact it had on the industry. Like every game that came after that, like there's some really good games that came after it, but it's so hard not to compare them to The Last of Us. Yeah,
its influence is very clear.
Yeah,
very clear on a lot of games.
Yeah.
Let's get into spoiler talk, because generally we've talked about like how the game feels and all that kind of stuff, but we're holding back. So let's get into spoiler talk. If you haven't played the game, I wouldn't want it ruined on you. that's why, like, for some of the other ones I haven't given a shit, but The Last of Us is a absolute masterpiece. It's one of the best games I think any of us have ever played. So if you haven't played it, please play it if it's something you're interested in, and don't listen to the rest of this. If you have played it, please do, and we could get into the nitty grittiness of it. So the ending, because you mentioned it, and you didn't think it was amazing.
Oh yeah,
What's wrong with you?
That's because like everyone's like, oh, it's so amazing, oh my god, and then you get to the end of it, and it's just like this conversation on a hillside, and that's it. And it's like, okay, that's grand. But then when you think back at it, and the fact that Joel lied to Ellie about the truth, and then it's like, oh, he's a fucking arsehole. He's the antagonist of it.
Yeah, I just love that Joel is willing
to sacrifice everyone else's life.
He's at a point where he is willing to kill anyone and everyone to keep Ellie.
Yeah.
And it's not even a case of like, I'm protecting her. Because he's not really. That's not really what it is. Like,
no, he's not saving her life.
It's self-interest.
Yeah.
He's kind of taking...
He just can't go through it again.
Because he's used lies, but he's kind of taking her hostage.
Yeah.
He's used lies to do it. Like, she will stay with him.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
she
could have had a loving relationship with David. Who knew? Like,
But no, like, Marlene says it, like, she goes, Ellie would want this, right?
Yeah.
And Marlene has known Ellie longer.
Yeah.
Or supposedly the game sets that up. She said Ellie would want this, and I think Joel acknowledges. He goes, "I know, but it's not what I want," or something like that. But it's just, he's essentially after keeping her captive with a lie.
Yeah,
and it's so messed up because like you're thinking with the game, right? You're playing it and you're going, right. The obvious thing is one of them's going to die, right? Because in these kinds of stories, that's usually what happens. You know, one of them's going to die, and you're thinking, and as it plays on, you're starting to think, oh, it's Joel. Joel's going to die and Ellie's going to become the survivor. Yeah. Because that's the typical...
And it almost gets to that point too.
And it almost gets to that point. And you're like, yeah, I've seen this coming. And like, you're thinking like it's going to go exactly where any other writer would take it. Yeah. And then it does a U-turn. They both survive, but it's like tainted. Yeah. And it's fucking beautiful. Yeah.
This is the only game where I'm like, please make some form of, like, whether it's a film or a TV series on it. Not necessarily the exact story or anything like that. Maybe different characters in that world. But, you know, like a lot of people are saying, like, there's no need to make any, films of video games because a lot of them are just go play the game, right? But there's so many people that are just not willing to play a game.
Yeah. And you want them to
don't take it seriously. Yeah. But this is absolutely, like, because I think other industries can learn from The Last of Us. Yeah. And, like, because the game industry has learned from it. We can see that from every game that came after that. Like, all the top hitters. God of War.
Like, there's, I'm sure they wouldn't shy away from the fact that The Last of Us was massive.
Oh, he absolutely said. He's like, Cory Barlog, he said when he saw The Last of Us and the success of The Last of Us, he was like, thank God for it, because it proved to him that there was a market for it.
That type of game. Because I think a lot of people are getting worried that the single player story based linear like games, like that there was no place for it in the world anymore because everything was becoming like online play and huge multiplayer experiences. But yet, like, The Last of Us had proven that if there's enough passion in it and if the story is right and if it's done right, it's the one that's going to impact.
But I do think even outside the games industry, I think it's probably the best piece of writing in any form ever. Like I think it's better than
honestly, that's a big one.
Honestly, just because
of anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just because of, like, hell. I mean, you can say that there's similarities from other films like The Road, for example, or Day After. Not Day After Tomorrow. Was 28 days later. 28 days later. Like, there's similarities there, but it's like, but there's similarities in like everything you can make, but just down to like how well that world is constructed without shoving it in your face.
Yes.
Like when you go into Billstown.
Love Billstown.
And Bill is this guy he's kind of like almost like a hillbilly style character.
Yeah.
And he's really like untrustworthy, and he uses the infected as traps, a perimeter kind of defense system.
Yeah.
And he even says it himself, it's like non-infected people that scare him. So he has a real trust values.
It's great that his segment sets up the next segment of the game. Like they do a really good job of like pitting you against the monsters before pitting you against the real monsters of the game. Yeah.
But what I really love about that whole story arc is that Bill had a partner, and that partner, they had a little falling out, and then that partner ended up dying trying to save Bill. So you can see the kind of desperation that people have.
Yeah.
And it turns out that partner was male, so they were gay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't go like, throwing it in your face. That's actually something that you can miss if you don't kind of explore it or think about it even a bit more. But in this world, those types of kind of discriminations don't matter. Right?
No,
it doesn't matter about your sexual preference. It doesn't matter what you identify as. It doesn't matter about your race. Religion doesn't matter. Nothing matters other than just survival.
Yeah.
It's either you're one of the good guys or you're one of the bad guys, and that's it. So it's more about your morals.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I think it's one of the best pieces of writing, because nearly everything else kind of tends to integrate that somehow. Like in some way, it's like, like how do we shove out racism so it like shoves it in your face and shows you how bad racism is. But like this is like showing you that in a situation where the stakes are a lot higher and there's other things to be worried about, you wouldn't be even thinking about racism.
No.
Everyone sees each other as it's just humans.
Yeah. And you're either a threat or you're not, or you're food, or you're not.
That bit's actually when you first meet the humans after Billstown, and that's a hard, difficult moment because you're so used to this infected coming at you, and then the humans are flanking you and shit. But when you're done with them, you go through some shutters and you find loads of clothes and shoes.
Yeah, just all or even the bit where like you're running. The first time you get there, I think, it could be just before the tank thing is chasing you.
Yeah.
And you see these people running away. It's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And the hunters, I think is what they call them.
That's right, yeah.
They like just drive down and mow them down. And what they're doing is just checking to see if their shoes are alright. Like their shoes are worn. So they just kind of go,
It's so fucked up.
It's like, just leave them there then. So they just kill them for their shoes.
Yeah. I love it.
Which is very much like the road, actually. And the road shoes are very, was one of the central...
Yeah, because
survival
you're constantly on your feet and you wear them down, so people are...
Yeah. I love, just on the topic of the hunters, I suppose, their leader, David, that's another, like when you listen to Joel, you can't hear Troy Baker.
Yeah.
You listen to him. There's no way that's Nolan North. Like, I had to be told that. Like, I had that is such a good performance. Really good. And it's nice.
It shows his range as well.
But it's nice to see, it was nice to see Nolan North
not being the hero.
Not take the lead.
Yeah.
But not only that, to take a role that it's not in the game very much. Like, it's actually kind of a small role, but it's very impactful. Like, it's a very... the winter segment is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing. And fighting him as Elliot is really stressful.
Yeah.
Very scary,
really stressful. Like, creepy out. But the voice that he picked, like, because he comes off as really kind of friendly, but you are uneasy talking to him. And then he keeps that friendly tone, but he's just really fucking creepy out. Like, just the acting across the board in the game is incredible.
Yeah, the first time you meet him and you're kind of like, do I trust him, do I not?
Yeah, and Ellie's not sure of the world, and she doesn't have her guide. Like, I'm sure if Joel was sitting there beside her at that moment, he would have said, Ellie, pack your things, we're going. Like,
or he just would have killed him.
Yeah, it just wouldn't have even entertained the idea. Because even like the guy, when you first meet the hunters and the guy is hurt and Joel's driving, and Ellie's like, maybe he needs help, and Joel's just like, put your seatbelt on, that guy ain't even hurt,
Yeah.
And I love that's the other thing I love about the game, and why I love Joel as a protagonist. Like, in a lot of games, your hero or your character that you play as has some sort of background that justifies their abilities, like they're a soldier or they're some sort of superhero of some kind, right? Joel's just some guy. Joel's some
he was
dude.
probably a builder or something.
Yeah, he was a contract worker.
He was a contract worker, and has spent 20 years in this world, and it has molded him into what he is.
And I also love the
So it could happen to anyone.
At the beginning, then his relationship with his partner Tess, and I say partner
really
because it is suggested that there was some sort of
romance.
Yeah, and I'm sure there possibly was.
Because she says to him, like, before they kind of go on this quest, she says there has to be enough here between us, like, for this to mean something.
That's right.
So that does suggest that there is some sort of romance. But when you see their reaction or how they interact with each other, it's not lovey-dovey. Because in this world, there is none of that. Like, people's intentions and like how they build relationships is based on, well, what can you give me? And that's what it's all about. Like, so how people interact is really interesting.
There's another great moment for Joel, again something that you wouldn't have done as a contract worker, which was during the winter sequence. Ellie is captured, Joel wakes up, he doesn't know where she is.
The torture scene.
Yes. Takes down two guys and he tortures. I'm going to stop talking about violence. I think every episode I talk about violence.
I actually believe that the guy he's torturing is
Robert Atkin dance.
No, but he is in it.
He is in it.
I know he is. I'm going to joke.
No, I think it's Nolan North.
Is it so?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but I think it is.
All right.
Yeah.
But fantastic sequence because he's so cold-hearted towards it.
It shows as well, like, the lengths Joel is willing to go to
get her.
Like he's one of my favorite video game protagonists, and he's not a hero.
No, not at all.
But he's a complicated character, and he's a very human character.
I think he's very realistic. I think if any of us were in that situation, it'd be very difficult to kind of disagree with anything he does.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like it's
like not necessarily, like, the thing that he did at the end is kind of brutal. It's not nice. It's not a nice outcome. It is selfish, but it's not necessarily the wrong thing to do.
No, if someone was there and it was their daughter, there's absolutely no fucking way they'd let someone like cut their brain open, you know? No matter what the relationship was. Like if you're there and it's your mother, your father, your girlfriend, whatever, on the table, fuck off. Find someone else's brain to fucking cut open. Absolutely. So, like, where Joel's not a hero, he is also not a villain. He's just a person, I suppose. Yeah. And he's very human and very, like, it's strange to say it, but he is relatable.
Yeah, no,
very much so. And, like, you can't always, as much as you can, like, video games are usually escapism, and you're usually like, oh, great, today I get to be a superhero, today I get to be a dragonborn or whatever. This is a case where I just get to be human, and I get to suffer. And I get to just walk my way through this. What do you guys think of the clickers? The creatures?
I thought that was a fantastic way to do zombies because it was so different from your biological weapons, or that's essentially all they ever use is biological weapons. So it was great to use a real plant that exists, which is terrifying. They have some
inspiration from the real world, which is a type of fungus.
And
also it created a very interesting design, I thought, in terms of evolution. And also, like, because I fucking it's a pet hate of mine is in a lot of games
types of zombies.
Whereas why when that guy got bitten did he turn into this mega super zombie? Like, whereas this was like, over time this is going to happen to all of them. So if there's like one that's like the bloater, for example, it's like that's
the only one I really, really dislike, and I understand the reason for it in terms of offering challenge.
Yeah.
But again, just how grounded the world is and stuff like that, I just that
one does feel in place.
Like
I only mention it as an example. I'm just saying that like that there's stages to the evolution of the fungus, and that's why you have different types of zombies to fight, and then they offer different challenges. And then I loved, like, the clickers thing came out so natural. It's like, okay, well, if they, like, the design's great. If they can't see, how do they see? All right, well, let's use the echolocation thing. Okay, so how do they do that? All right, we'll give them a clicking noise. So now suddenly they have a really scary sound, and okay, let's give them a nickname, clickers. Great. And it's iconic straight away. Like,
I would have loved to seen, like, maybe I don't think the bloaters are necessary at all. So I would have gotten rid of them, but I would have had the stalkers in the game more because it's actually they're only in it once. Really, it's the sewers.
They're scary fuckers.
Yeah, I think it's just
kind of, but they're it's kind of difficult to know the difference between a stalker and a runner.
Yeah.
Like there's not much distinction between them. And
stalkers have just like a bit of growth. Yeah. That's kind of it, like.
But there could be a lot more to them to make them scarier.
Yeah.
And integrate them more, because there's loads of sections that they could have been used.
Have to give them credit as well on the music, in that like the music is quite simplistic. It's in no way big or grandiose, but it's a composer doing what the story needs rather than like in any way just like doing it for themselves.
Yeah,
like just giving it a really simple, broken down. You know, there's elements of hope in the music, but it's also there's just despair throughout. Like, it's a beautiful soundtrack. It's not what I'd really listen to.
I listen to it
the
all the
main
time.
theme. I would, but like a lot of like that's pretty much it. Like there's a lot of
sometimes
stuff. It's more atmospheric.
Yeah, the music for the hunters and stuff like that. Like it really suits when you're playing the game and the situation you're in.
Exactly. Yeah.
You wouldn't be lying in the bath listening to it.
No,
you'd be fucking shitting yourself thinking some bloater's going to burst through the door.
Oh, Jesus. You're sitting in the bath going, do you need one? Am I right in saying that the game's inspiration came from Uncharted 2, the Drake and Tenzin segment?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. They were like, they really liked that mechanic, which was just the...
two guys helping each other out.
Yeah, and it's similar to like what we were saying in Journey from the last episode, which is like how do you have these two characters that don't speak? You know, how do they interact? And
because that was my favourite segment of Uncharted 2.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
And I'm glad that they decided to explore that more and create this. Like, it's a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah,
I wonder if Robin Atkin Downes did Tenzin.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
Yeah, he just didn't voice him, but he did all the...
Oh, he just did all the mocap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Robin, if you're listening, we love you, man.
Yeah.
We love your work.
He's getting a lot of mentions.
So, I suppose one of the great things as well about us talking about The Last of Us this year is the sequel is coming this year.
Oh, yeah.
Last of Us 2, yeah.
What are we looking forward to? I haven't seen much of it except for like the trailers that they've shown, obviously.
Trailers and the gameplay. I haven't seen anything else.
I'm glad that they've kept like the story
as minimal as possible.
Yeah, under wraps. Like, I don't know much about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say one thing actually that I love about Last of Us, the first one, is that you don't need a sequel.
You don't need one, but I'm glad there is one.
I'm glad there is a sequel, but the way it ends is just like that's...
Well, the fact that they're calling it Part 2 and not just The Last of Us 2.
Yeah,
like,
Part 2 is very important in the naming.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, we're not like... It's not like a Uncharted 2 where we're trying to up the stakes this time. It's
Part 2 is a continuation.
It is.
It's almost, if it was like a season, it's just season 2.
Well, it implies to me that it's not going to ignore how the first one ended. That conversation or that revelation will at some point come up. Maybe not even in this game. Maybe there will be a part 3 when it eventually comes up. But that revelation is going to have to be addressed at some point. And I don't know how it's going to go down. And it's really exciting. I wonder if like someone else, like I wonder if they'll harken on it more, or like, and this is obviously all speculation, if like some other character will learn about the truth and like Ellie deserves to know, and Joel will like kill this person who's maybe someone that's like an ally.
Tommy.
Like something as fucked up as that. Maybe not Tommy, because he's too close. But do you know what I mean? Like imagine like Joel trying to bury that secret.
Yeah.
And it brings him down like a darker road where he is like, anyone who knows about this at all, I need to silence, like, basically, and like I need to cover up what I've done. So he's like a murderer.
So he becomes
like,
a serial killer.
Man, that'd be great. No, like, yeah, I'm not that extreme, but I do think, can you imagine that as a moment would be really, and you're like, you know, I was kind of behind Joel, but more and more he's losing me, like, because he's going down this path I can't follow. Like, I'd love the idea of Joel and Ellie.
Well, I don't want to speculate.
Know there's a rivalry that's going to build at some point.
I don't really want to speculate on the story, because I just think, like, I don't think we have any idea what.
No, like, no clue, and I know they're going to surprise the shit out of us.
I know that this game is absolutely going to be stressful and probably
Absolutely.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Like the gameplay I saw, like just watching it was really stressful. The fact that they have dogs in it now that can
sniff
like
you out,
sniff
find you.
and
So you
find
can't
you.
stay still too long.
No. And then there's like newer infected, which I was really skeptical. I didn't really want there to be newer infected, but the one that they introduced, at least that I saw, looked really interesting, and I'd be interested to see like what's the evolution of it. Perhaps location wise has a difference. Maybe climate actually does have a change, because like when you think about fungus, like it does grow and evolve differently depending on the location it's in anyway. So that could play into it a bit.
Yeah, good.
I haven't seen this new infected.
So it kind of looks like a bloater a bit, but it's not like the huge. It's about the size of a human. It's just kind of a little bit more, almost like a hunchback nearly, the way it's kind of hunched over and stuff, and it's got like spores all over its back and stuff. And what it does is it tries to like almost rugby tackle you nearly, but when it does, it releases spores from itself.
Oh, right, yeah.
So you can't get close. So that way you won't be able to shiv it when you think about it.
Okay, yeah.
So you're definitely gonna have ammo of some sort.
The fucking graphics as well.
Ammo.
Is it your most anticipated game of the year?
No.
Is it not?
No.
Is it yours?
But there's too much this year as well.
This year
it's very
I
hard.
can't wait for this year games, like, because I have found the last few years have been quite
disappointing.
like I've always had a couple of games to play, but I haven't been like this one. I'm actually kind of fucking spoiled for choice. Like there's a load of games coming out that's like there's gonna be loads.
It's not my most anticipated just because I kind of there's something about like the you know it's going to be really really good.
You do, yeah.
But there is that kind of fear that it mightn't be as good as you want it to be.
Yeah.
Just because of how much we're anticipating it.
Yeah.
The buzz is like the hype for it is crazy. But also just because everything else that's coming out around it, plus we're about to go into the next gen.
Yeah.
And I kind of have a feeling like I'm like, I don't know how to feel about its timing, really.
Yes. For me, it's not my most anticipated game of the year. It's probably my second.
Yeah.
But I do think on a purely objective point of view. So, like obviously subjectively I won't know until I play the games that come out. Mm-hmm. But I think objectively, technically, I think it's probably going to be the best game this year.
I think it's going to win Game of the Year.
I think it probably will.
I think it'll win Game of the Year. Like we could say that Cyberpunk will, just because like it's a huge game, it's on more platforms. But considering,
I'm definitely more excited for Last of Us.
I'm definitely more excited for Last of Us as well. But just because of like how much. No
man, Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves like all the way.
Well, it's just you see the thing is with Cyberpunk is like if I was them, I would completely delay that for next gen. If I was them. Like I know they've been developing it up to this point, but it's just because they are struggling to get it to work on the lower end consoles.
I thought they were
delayed it,
delaying it for the next gen.
No, it's still releasing it's the end of the year.
Not class,
and it is coming out for PS4. It is coming out for Xbox One, but it sounds as though the hardware is very limited for what they want to do, and I think they should have just made it a launch title for next gen.
Is Last of Us your most anticipated game this year, Eric?
I don't like to anticipate games.
Okay.
On the basis of what if they are disappointing.
Yeah, and that happens. And there's been games in the past that have been highly anticipated that let you down big time.
Absolutely.
Not just you, us. In general.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I just find also if you're looking forward to a game and it disappoints you even more.
Yeah, that's
than
true.
If you just go, that looks pretty good, and then you play and go, okay, actually it wasn't that good.
But you know why sometimes you can't help your anticipation? That's what I'm trying to ask you about. Like, of all the games that are coming out, is that the one you're most excited for?
No.
It's not?
No, okay. There's obviously one game. I think we're all on the same path with this one. There's just one moment.
I am. I can't say for everyone.
Am I allowed to say it?
No, it's a secret.
All right.
Final Fantasy VII Remake is my most anticipated game.
And I don't know why. It was the moment I started seeing that you were able to work out in the game.
What the fuck?
That got me because the reason why
those fucking squats, man.
Squats all the way.
What are you on?
So wait, you know when they announced that they were remaking it?
Oh yeah, no, I delighted.
When they announced that they were remaking it, and the show does amazing graphics, and they showed the amazing music, and everyone else got excited. You were like, I don't know, man. I gotta see some squats.
Missing something.
See, because the minute I saw that, I was like, absolutely, I was so delighted because it meant they weren't going to shy away from anything. They were going to leave. They were going to leave it everything, and then also add more. Now I will admit there was one of the leaks that they showed I found very cringy.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know.
It's not a leak at this point because they've made an official trailer about
True, yeah, but that was very cringy, and it was very cringy.
Fucking, if you played the original, you know there's a cross-dressing scene.
It's going to be game is going to be cringe.
It's going to be cringy no matter what way you do it, but it's going to be fucking incredible. Yeah. Any last notes on The Last of Us before we finish up? Any last thoughts or anything else people feel like we have? I mean, you could talk about it forever, of course.
Its upgrading system is fantastic.
The upgrading system.
Like how you level up and
really
how
you're the idea that at first when you aim your pistol is swaying all over the place, and then you have to upgrade that and make it more steady.
I love that that's not like you're not guaranteed to fully upgrade that either. You have to actually go explore for parts.
Yeah. It's one of those games as well where New Game Plus I felt like was a really enjoyable experience actually.
Yeah.
So to carry over the weapons that you'd customized before, and now it's like, so the first time you play it is like a real stress test the whole way through.
Yeah.
Which is great, by the way. Like I don't give out when I stress playing it. It gives like the atmosphere and the feeling you get from playing it puts you right in this environment. But when you play it the second time, there is some of the maps where you're like, I'm a fucking badass and I'm gonna kill all these mofos. So I think that's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's like, what do you like about The Last of Us? Yeah, it's really good.
It's classic.
Well, like, is there anything like that you don't like about it? Maybe that would have been a shorter conversation.
Let's finish on a negative note. What I don't like about it is nothing.
I think the only negative I would have had with it
is the bloater, probably, is it?
It's probably the bloater and the fact that they didn't use the stalkers enough in it. That's probably it.
I think my only negative might be I think there's some segments that feel slightly repetitive. Like might be one or two bits where you got to get a pallet for Ellie to cross water.
Oh sure, yeah. It's kind of like why are they in it?
Yeah, this is minor games and stuff. And I kept thinking that the reason for that was going to be at some point Ellie's going to be underwater drowning, and it's going to be like a big story moment.
There kind of was though.
But it wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be. Like because I was like, they're kind of like, there's a few points where this keeps happening. I was like, they're harkening on.
But you know, for the sequel, the bit where she starts swimming is going to be like, whoa.
Oh, when she swims, I'm going to be so proud. Yeah. Because you do, as a player, you start to care for Ellie.
Oh yeah.
Ellie becomes a very likable character.
Yeah. She's likable from the beginning, but
she she becomes really likable.
Yeah, you start to care for her.
Fashion sense, terrible fashion sense in the apocalypse. You know
what? What are you talking about?
Negatives. I don't really have any. It's class. It's amazing. It's fucking good. Fuck you, Naughty Dog, for making a good game. It's very hard for everyone else now to actually live up to that.
That is a negative. I think they've really set the bar, and every game that came after it is pretty shit. That's
as a result. Yeah,
they fucked over the whole company.
No, it's an amazing game, and it deserves to be in like. It's not only the best game that year. It's
game of the year for 200 years. It says it on the case. 200. It says, all right, if you get the remaster.
No.
That's what it says.
No, I think you got 200 Game Awards.
Yeah, that's definitely what it says.
200 Game of the Year Awards. Game of the Year for 200 years.
That's fantastic. Okay, if you can take anything away from this, the last it was that. Oh fuck! Oh my god! Right, The Last of Us was not only a game of the year in 2013 for us, but it is the game of the year for the next 200 years. I mean, that's maths you can't argue with. Fucking hell. So to sum up, our game of the year was The Last of Us.
I do think we have an honourable mention though.
What?
We have to put in an honourable mention here.
What's the honourable mention?
Like, you can't mention 2013 without just mentioning GTA 5.
Well, you can mention it if you want. I mean, like, yeah, you've got 2 minutes.
All right, okay.
Don't know.
Go away.
Did any of you play that?
Yeah, I played and cleared
played a little bit of
it.
it.
Was the only GTA game I cleared.
All right, okay. Yeah.
It was the third Rockstar game then I cleared.
Yeah. No, I just mentioned it just because I think if like people were hearing us talk about, like, I mean, Infinity Blade 3 was mentioned.
Oh yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, I played like a little bit of Grand Theft Auto 5.
I just think people would be a bit like, kind of, how did you not talk about
fucking
GTA 5?
It's fucking great. It's really good. And it was a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
definitely a better game than GTA 4.
Absolutely.
And even all the like the real fun minigame stuff, like even like golfing and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like they added in a lot of stuff, and I loved the 3 different protagonists because it meant that if you have a certain, so like you have a sort of a CJ character,
Yeah,
San
yeah.
Andreas is your favorite, and then you have a sort of a, what's the guy from Vice City, you know, like you have that kind of a protagonist,
Yeah.
and then you have this
Gangster.
new protagonist who's just batshit crazy, who's sort of the new direction.
Yeah.
So at least you have, you know, like, because I personally, like, I didn't like the protagonist in 4.
No.
So I found it hard to play the game because if you don't like who you're playing as, like, it's really hard to stick with a game. Like, so at least in this case they went, well, let's give you a choice.
Plus,
of
San
different
Andreas
character
is probably
styles.
the most interesting location.
Yeah,
in each GTA game.
It's a beautiful world, and that's one of those open worlds where there is loads to do. Like, the map
Yeah.
is huge.
There's too much to
and
do.
there's loads to do. There's loads to do.
The only reason I wanted to mention is just because that game came, like, it's just so hard to think that game came out in 2013. That's a last gen game, right?
It's true, and it's
Still
fucking
alive today.
2019.
Yeah.
It was like in the top 20 of the best selling games of the year.
Yeah, like
So-
I actually forgot it came out that year, and I did enjoy it, but I don't own a copy of it, so I haven't played enough of it to, because I'm sure I would go, there's no fucking way Arkham Origins is better than GTA 5 as a game. Like, I'm sure if I played more of it, it'd probably be on my list.
Story
I
and
haven't
twist
played
to it is
enough
actually
of it.
really good.
Is it?
Story and twist is very good, yeah.
Cool.
No, I have to, I played a little bit of it back then.
Yeah.
Wasn't really. It was just my mood. I just wasn't into playing that type of game. That's really it, and I've never touched it. But I am playing it now through Game Pass.
All right.
And like,
Does it hold up?
no, it definitely feels like a last gen game, kind of. Like,
okay.
I would say that the like things like draw distances and stuff they don't really hold up, but the game is really fun, and it's really fun to be back in San Andreas.
Yeah.
And I can see why it still sells.
Yeah.
You know.
Step in the right direction.
Also, in each game, your character always progresses, and you know they're progressing by their houses.
Yeah.
This game does a really good job of the different types of progression each one does. So, like the Franklin's character, who's the CJ, progresses in that natural kind of GTA way of he starts off in this kind of the kind of ghettos of San Andreas, and then he builds up to get this lovely Tony Stark looking.
Don't ruin it on me.
Yeah, man.
I want to tell you about Franklin. I'm not telling you about the others. The others.
Played it.
But I did do a little turnaround in Grove Street there last night.
Oh, in where CJ lives.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a good place.
Man, I'm a fucking.
It doesn't look anything like it did
No.
in San Andreas, but I did.
That's
my
why it's
only.
developed.
Yeah, that's my only.
Grime is
Right,
that there's
yeah,
no like
I
little
don't-
kind of Easter eggs or anything?
Well, it's
or-
just there probably is throughout.
I
but
think
there's-
just driving around San Andreas. I know it's Los Santos, but it doesn't feel familiar. I don't recognize really.
Well, what they
anything
did was they got, because it wasn't in San Andreas, they had like 3 or 4 islands, and then what they did for this was they just got the best bits of each island and slapped it all together.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what
But
they did.
the radio stations probably aren't as good, are they?
I haven't listened to enough of them.
I mean the actual music. Because
Radio-
San
radio-
Andreas had a great rock radio.
Radioactive
yeah,
after changing to X Radio.
yeah, no, the music
Whatever,
is okay.
Yeah, like
Right.
it's hard to top
It's
that soundtrack.
the game itself is probably the only one that actually has its own soundtrack as you play the game anyway, like its own score.
Oh right, yeah, because usually they just have like the sound effects of cars and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I loved the heist sequence at the beginning and stuff. I just thought it was,
I played that. I enjoyed that, and I thought the combat had been improved greatly.
Combat's
like, the
great.
shooting was actually really good.
it is
weapons
glitchy
great.
as hell though. And
I'd imagine so.
I tried. There was one mission there. Like I tried 5 different ways, 5 times. Every single way it glitched on me
Jesus.
to the extent where that I was chasing this truck with a yacht on it.
Okay.
Yeah, and the it got to a point where it was supposed to be Franklin jumps up onto the yacht. I'm sure if anyone's played the game knows what mission I'm talking about.
Right.
But Franklin just fell off my car. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just go and shoot the driver then and stop the lorry. So I'm driving, I'm trying to shoot the driver, and you can't shoot the driver for some reason. The bullets don't hit him. And it got to a point where the truck just stopped in the middle of the road. I'm like, okay, so now maybe I can get my yacht back. No, just the game just completely... the game stopped. So I decided to drive back and see could I get Franklin then, because the mission was to get Franklin onto the yacht. And I drove back and there's no one. It was like driving around in I Am Legend or something. Like San Andreas was empty.
What the hell?
So yeah, I kind of broke the game.
Jesus.
Well done.
Bigger than my Sid and Mind fuck up. So I think I'd like to play it, but it's one of those games again, like it's big and there's other games. It's so hard to catch up once you've kind of missed the train a little bit. Yep. I find with big games, but yeah, I would like to play it. I think it's definitely a step in the right direction for GTA, and I imagine for a lot of people it probably was one of their favorite games that year. But yeah, Last of Us knocked the ball out of the park for us.
Definitely.
Best game of the year for 200 years.
Yeah.
But some of the other games that we mentioned were Tomb Raider, which across the board I think is definitely liked. Infinity Blade 3.
Oh my god, yes.
I think
more of that. More of that, like yeah.
And I also enjoyed Arkham Origins. So those were our favourite games of the year for 2013. Next episode, we'll be looking at our favourite games of the year for 2014. It didn't have a big Last of Us, so we might all have very different views on that year. We probably will. We'd like to hear yours too. So thanks for listening, and bye.